You know, folks, Lindsey Graham is out running his mouth again, trash talking President Biden and trying to draw comparisons to Donald Trump that are based completely on fantasy. Take a look at the video.
Party. Now, why am I with Trump? I like both Nikki and Tim. I believe if Trump were president, none of this would be going on. If he gets to be president in 2025, this will end pretty quickly. Whether you like Trump or not, there was order in the world that's been lost.
Well, Trump just recently said that he thought Hezbollah was smart. I mean, should someone who said something like that be president of the United States?
Yeah, well, he killed Soleimani, and I don't think Hezbollah is smart.
But he said that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, if he were president of the United States, Hamas would not have attacked Israel. I really believe that. Putin wouldn't invade Ukraine because they're afraid of the guy. Nobody's afraid of Biden. A lot of people are afraid of Trump.
You know, he says here, if Trump were president, and Russia would have never invaded Ukraine. If Trump were president, Russia would have succeeded invading Ukraine. Ukraine would have had no support from the West. Trump would have done everything he could to further Putin's views. The Russians are already in Moldova. They're trying to destabilize the government in Moldova. If Trump were president, Putin would be rolling through Eastern Europe right now. We would be looking at another World War III situation, which is what will happen if Ukraine fails. Folks, we cannot afford the Republicans anymore. Because this is what they do. They live in fantasy land all the time that is detached from reality. Things that we have seen Trump's fealty to Putin. We've seen him blackmail. They impeached the man for blackmailing Ukraine and trying to withhold arms from Ukraine. We know what the reality is. But Republicans don't live in it. And it's not just Ukraine, folks. It's every issue. Look at abortion. For years, they lied. And folks like me were screaming, you cannot vote Republican. The Republicans will overturn Roe v. Wade. You cannot do it. And for decades, everybody was, well, they just want it to be a state's issue. And no, they don't. They want a national ban on abortion because they're wrong on religion. You know, we liberals are like, hey, have your religion. Do you, man. Hell, I'll fight to the death for your right to go do you, and you have your religion in your churches and in your home. And your religion ends at the end of your nose. But no, Republicans are like, we're going to make America into a theocracy. We're going to make the churches law. Issue after issue after schools, education. We liberals are like, hey, you know what? Educated people are great. If you can make the grades, we should fund your education. Educated people are a huge benefit for society. Republicans are like, no, we should do the old capitalism model on education, make it as expensive as possible, least as inaccessible as possible for the most number of people so that we can keep a permanent underclass and feed our billionaire frat boy club capitalists. You know, they're wrong on every issue. School vouchers. They want to put their churches in touch with government funding. That's what school vouchers are. It is government funding of their churches. Because that's where they want to take the vouchers to. They want to go to their church schools. They want your taxes to pay their churches to open schools. Every single issue, folks. NATO. We Democrats want, and liberals want a strong NATO because it keeps the peace. It just does. Historically, that's just the facts. Strong NATO means peace. Strong NATO means we don't have Russia trying to reignite the old Soviet bloc and all of those conflicts that come from it. Middle East. What do you have? You've got Iran and Russia working to destabilize the Middle East. And the Republicans are good with it. They're good with it. No problem. Meanwhile, we Democrats and Joe Biden are running around the region making sure that this doesn't blow up into a worldwide event. Diplomacy, the hard work, the making the sausage that's not pretty. You know, folks, that's just the way it is. The Republicans are wrong on every issue. Guns. Hell, I love guns. I do. I set up a target back here. I shoot downhill. I enjoy shooting. But you know what? Right now, we've got a gun culture problem. We do. And as a liberal Democrat, I'll tell you right now, we need stricter gun laws to change the conversation around guns. You have too many people walking around, cosplaying with their AR-15s like they're soldiers, talking about shooting their fellow Americans. You pass a few restrictive gun laws and that conversation dries up real quick. People learn that you have to be responsible to have rights. You have to be responsible with your rights. You do. That is the difference, folks. Republicans believe you get to have every right, period, no matter how much you abuse it and how bad you make it. It's my right. And liberals believe society's got to function. And if you abuse your rights to the point that society can't function, if you have a society where more school children are being killed by guns than cops or soldiers, yeah, we need to look at gun rights. Now, I'll be honest with you. If you changed your rhetoric and you stopped talking about shooting your fellow Americans, I wouldn't give a damn if you owned an Abrams tank as long as you had the facilities to own it and operate it safely. I wouldn't give a damn. But you won't. Just the small step of just changing the rhetoric, you won't do it. You want to show your ass, exacerbate the problem, pour gas on the fire. That's the difference between liberals and Republicans. And we can't afford the Republicans anymore. We just can't. Russia is collapsing, folks. And that's going to be a dangerous time. We can't afford this destabilization of our own government that Republicans bring. Folks, we have to vote Democrat in 2024. Or we end up, God, I want you to think about that. Think about where we end up if Republicans win in 2024. It would be the last election that you actually vote in, last free election you actually vote in. We can't afford Republicans anymore. And a lot of people say, Paul, well, you got to have a two-party system. I'm not saying in the two-party system. I'm saying the other party doesn't have to be that party. Clear out the Republicans, make room for another party, a real opposition party, something to countercheck we Democrats and liberals. I'm not saying that we're absolutely right on everything and we've got the best ideas, but we work for the American people. And we are head and shoulders better than the Republicans. And we do need a good opposition party that really wants to govern and do well for the country. Do it, folks, in the Republican Party. Vote it out of existence. Let's get back to doing things the smart way. Love you, folks. You're about to see a commercial from MeidasTouch. Support them if you can. We're almost to 2 million followers. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get over 2 million followers. Let's get this message blasted out to everyone that needs to see it. Love you, folks. This is Old Texas Paul out. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.